Hello, my name is Tim Smith. I'm here to talk to you today about restringing an acoustic steel string guitar. Okay, to start off with this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the strings, and I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing you want to do is come to the keys and unwind. Now at this point, we're going to come back here to our end pins and remove them. We pull straight up, pin comes out, and it's done. No damage to the bridge, no damage to the top of the guitar. And to repeat that method 5 more times. Now that being said, you don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on this pin. The only thing we're doing is we're prying it straight up. So it's taking it straight out of the hole and we're not damaging any of the wood in the bridge. Come up, all your strings come out. Come here, finish taking your strings off. And this is the point we really want to take a hard look here at the saddle and make sure there's no real physical damage there. Everything else still looks pretty good shape. It's not chipped, it's not broken, it's not falling apart. We're going to do the same thing with the nut up here at the top. We're going to make sure that it is still snug in place, that it's not loose, it doesn't fall out, and that there's no damage. Fingerboard we have checked over, there's no gunk buildup, there's nothing on it that we absolutely physically need to remove, so it is ready for the treatment at this point. And with this treatment, all I'm doing is I'm taking a couple sprays and just applying it to the end of a rag, and I'm just rubbing it in and I'm making sure that we're getting in nice and even all the way down the fingerboard. After that's all done, we're ready to put on the strings. Now when the strings come out of their packages, they're an inch individual package. They all have numbers on them. These are relative to the gauge of each individual string. If you go back to your original package, you'll see the numbers up here in this corner that says 12 through 54. 54 being the low E and 12 being the high E. And we're going to string from the low E, our thickest string, down to our thinnest string. So we're going to start off with the 54. Going wrap. We have a ball end on the steel strings, which is different from our classical guitars that have no ball end. Some of them do, but not very many. Most of them, those are tied nut C's. We're going to be dealing with the fall end string. And we're going to take and just put a slight bend in the string with this ball end facing vertical. This will go in the hole with that notch over. You take the pin that you took out of the same hole and you're just going to hold that thing down and push it down until it's nice and firm in there. You're going to pull the string out. And how I come up, because we want to have a minimum of about 3 wraps on each one of these tuning pegs that we come from. The way I do it is I pull the string, not real tight, but firm, and I come up just past the second one, or right at the second one. Holding that in, I bring this in the machine up to that point. And then what I'm looking for now is I'm going to hold this down like this, and I'm going to turn the machine to start its winding. And we don't bring it up to pitch yet, but we just keep it snug. And we move on to our next thing. Now we're going to repeat this process 5 more times and get all the strings up. Same process as before. Finding my ball end of the string, I'm putting a small bend in it, taking the appropriate peg, pushing that in firmly, bringing this down, coming up measuring to my next peg up, and feeding it through. Keeping a little tension on the string back here to keep it up so it'll come down. You want to try to keep that string to the bottom part of this tuning machine because it's tapered and it will hold the string and work its way up the peg. Again, you don't need to bring it to pitch, just bring it up firm. Okay, now that we have all 6 strings on, we want to get rid of the tails here. Go back to my diagonal cutters, and what I'm doing is I'm coming right up to the top part of this tuning machine and just clipping it straight off. Just coming right up, clipping them straight off. This way you don't poke anybody's eye out by having these things laying around, and they're off and it looks very clean. Okay, now we're ready to start bringing it up to tune, to pitch. We have a little tuner here, a snark tuner. You can use just about any kind of tuner you want. These clip-ons, they resonate off any kind of instrument that doesn't have to be plugged in. And we're going to bring it up to pitch. Okay, now that we have the guitar up to pitch, the strings need to be stretched because they're going to stretch on their own. The method I use, I like to get a string with both fingers in here and hold down the guitar, and I pick it up and I wiggle it down to try to stretch some of that out. I want to do that to all 6 strings. This is the time we go back to our clean cloth that we have, and we're going to touch up and get rid of all the fingerprints. Now that it looks nice, and it's ready to go back to the customer.